Data binding isn't just built to work well with ViewModel, it's also built to work well with LiveData. Looking back at our diagram, we have these views over here defined in XML, the UI controller, and the data in the ViewModel. The optimal scenario would be that whenever the data in the ViewModel changes, the views would stay in sync. And to some extent, that's what we're doing. When the data, such as score, changes in the ViewModel, it triggers a score observer in the fragment, which then updates the score text view. But again, wouldn't it be great to get rid of that code in the fragment, and just have when the data in the ViewModel changes, the view updates? So you could try telling the view to update by calling binding.viewModel and repassing in the ViewModel, but that's not really optimal. The data binding library also offers different ways to make observable data objects. You can add observable fields to your code. And you can also have your objects implement base observable, which will turn data objects into data that can automatically update in a layout that it's bound to. But with LiveData, you don't need to know about any of this because you get this feature automatically. Let's go ahead and see how. I'm here in Game Fragment. Down here, I am binding my ViewModel to my layout. Once I've done this, I need to make a very important call which takes my data binding and then sets its lifecycle owner. And I'm going to set the lifecycle owner to this, meaning the fragment here. This powerful piece of code allows me to use LiveData to automatically update my data binding layouts. So for example, now I can go back to my game fragment XML, and I'm going to go up to my Word text view. And here I'm going to set the text to a data binding expression. And that's going to be gameViewModel.word. Word here refers to the Word LiveData in my gameViewModel, which you can see here. Going back to my game fragment, notice that I didn't need to put word.value. I'm actually setting the text to the LiveData object. Due to some data binding magic, this will display the current value of word LiveData. And if the value of word happens to be null, it'll default to showing an empty string. So because I've done this, I can go back to the game fragment, and I can scroll down, and I can actually remove this observer code here for word that updates the text. Now, if I set up everything correctly, I should be able to run my app, and I'm going to play the game, and I see that even without my observer code, that my app word updates correctly. Alright, I'm going to do one more thing using data binding. I'm going to use string formatting. For the final version of my app, I want there to be quotes around the word here. Back in my code, in strings.xml, I have this resource called quote format. This is known as a formatting string because it has a string argument, represented by this %s here. I've included more information on formatting strings below. So let's go back and use this formatting string in my XML code. I'm going to get my string resource using @string/quote format, and I'm going to pass in the word as a parameter to that. This passes in the current word as an argument to the quote format string. If I run my app, I see that the end result is now I have a word that is surrounded by quotes. As another example, let me show you binding the score data. In strings.xml, I have another formatting string, which is formatting the score. This takes in one numerical argument represented by this %d. I'm going to go back to my game fragment XML layout, and then go over to the score text view. And similarly, I'm going to set up the Android text attribute. This is a binding expression. And now I'm going to get the formatting string. And finally, I'm going to pass in my score, which comes from the ViewModel again. So one more time, here is the score LiveData here that I'm getting from the ViewModel, and it's being passed in as a variable to this formatting string. And this whole thing is going to be shown as the text for the text view. So again, I should be able to go back to my game fragment and delete this score observer code. And then I should be able to run my app, and I'm going to play the game. And you might need to squint a little bit, but you should see that it says current score 0 here. And the score updates appropriately. Alright, I want you to go ahead and make these changes for yourself. Then I want you to go into the score fragment and do the exact thing on your own. You'll take the score LiveData and you'll bind it to the score text view. For now, don't worry about updating this current time observation, because we'll tackle that next. Alright, good luck.